What's up, everyone? Mr. Totem back. Welcome back to the Black Cloud Battalion. I'm going to do a video today actually to start off a build series of a car that I've had since 2014, my 1970 Pontiac Firebird Formula. I've had that car so long now that I constantly find myself coming back to modifying it, changing it, and I always have these modifications in phases. So this is the first time that I've ever really documented the work that I'm actually doing on the Firebird. And now I feel like, you know what, let me go ahead and make a series on it. So one of the things about that car is I had basically driven it home, and it was already in a pretty decent shape when I got it. Unfortunately, as time went on, I found that it had a number of rust issues that I needed to take care of. At the time, I wasn't exactly the most versed in rust replacement and panel replacement, but I eventually got good enough. Now, I've taken care of these kind of things on the car, and I'm about to show some of the stuff that I've already done. The car started out as a regular 1970 Formula 350 engine, turbo 350 transmission, automatic car. No modifications, no bells or whistles, cloth interior, black, and just the all-around basic good start. The car essentially, it was my foray into the second gen of the F bodies. Because you guys have seen my first gens, I wanted to do a second gen. Its first incantation was pretty much just an OEM plus approach. Lowered it, put a little bit of paint on areas that I felt were a pretty good accent. I changed out the hood from the snorkel hood of a Formula, which is the two snouts that come out like this. I just didn't particularly like that hood. Everyone likes that hood. I just didn't like it. So I changed that out for actually a Trans Am hood with a shaker in it. And the Trans Am hood that I had got, it was maybe second, third, fourth, fifth hand hood that I had found locally. It had been in a fire. I had to straighten it out as best as I could, especially for the time. It had a little bit of rust and stuff like that. Then I had to source a shaker from a different spot and things like that. Then I put on a Trans Am kit, which means the lower spats and the chin spoiler and the rear spats or flares, or however you'd like to call them. I put that on, painted those black. The car was already this, I would actually say a Mustang seafoam green blue that I bought the car in, and it wasn't the original color. It wasn't Lucerne blue that a lot of people might have thought it might have been, but it wasn't Lucerne blue. It was that mixed blue that they must have just pulled off so they could pretty much scuff and just shoot the car and sell it. And that's what I ended up getting it like. When I had put the Trans Am kit on it, I wasn't going to paint it the color that it was, or was trying to find out what the color was. I was going to go ahead and do my black and blue, Beat You black and blue color scheme. Because most of my cars are gray, white, black, I didn't have any color cars. That one was one of the ones where, it's one of the first ones that was actually a color, and it was blue. So I said, all right, let me do a black hood, black shaker, flat black, black Trans Am kit around the bottom, and lower it. So that's what I did. I lowered it, basically slammed it, and painted the wheels, which are just some regular centerline wheels, discontinued now, but regular centerline wheels, and painted them black. And I did the hood, and I did the Trans Am kit. So basically, at that point, I felt like, wow, it's looking pretty nice at this point. Let me add a little bit of little custom touches. So what I did was I put my GS hash stripes that I normally put on the front fenders that I have on Vengeance and Stormy, I put it on the rear. I wanted to make it's similar to Native American war paint like this. It being a Pontiac, the native character is one of their logos and one of their famous mascots, more or less. So I decided to add that, kind of like a custom touch, something of my own, because naturally it wasn't important because it wasn't a true Trans Am. So let me make it my way, right? So I added those things, and I just drove her. I just drove her and drove her and drove her, picked my kids up from school, lots of changes, lots of life changes, and really pretty much all around just enjoyed the car. I kept it. And as my life grew, I found myself working on some of my other cars, and this one basically found itself on the side of my house for a little while, and kind of wasting away a little bit, not necessarily rusting away, but wasting away a little bit. So intermittently, I would bring it back out, clean it up, and freshen it up. So I had updated it again, maybe, roughly around 2019, 18 or something like that. I repainted the car, reworked the body, and repainted the car this time Cavalry Blue, a Toyota TRD color that I really like because it almost looks kind of gray looking, like a muted gray blue paint color, and I thought it was quite cool. But it was one of those colors that I kind of started to fall out of love with the more I had it. So I added the black accents on it that I had on the other incantation of it, and it helped it. It made it feel more my own. But as time went on, it's almost like as if that Cavalry Blue got more powdery blue to me, and I just didn't feel like it had that masculine, tough, brawler look that I really set out. And I actually got a little bit closer. I got way closer to with the first incantation. So now, as the world around me, Black Cloud and Burn Unit, we had purchased the building, and I had finally set all of my cars in here, I decided to start updating it again. I had already made the rounds to other cars and finally came to this once again, and now it's getting updated. So one of the biggest things about what I love about cars in general is the aesthetic of the car and using the car like a canvas, like an open canvas. So I decided to do everything that I could do on the car. I wanted to do like a custom, cosmetically. A lot of these approaches I do, you would see them on Vengeance, or you would see them on some of my other ones. Most of it is on Vengeance. And prior to this car, I was working on one of our little homies' cars, was a '86 Cressida, and we did a Kaido approach to that car, a Japanese Kaido approach. And that car had a lot of modifications that I realized that, I haven't been doing any of my own cars with that type of modification, with that type of updates and changes that I like to do. So I said, why not do it on this one? So the approach to this one is purely heavy in cosmetics and body modification. So the body mods are going to be similar and are similar to Vengeance's, from door handles to shaving to updated rear tail lights to and even the wide body, the fender flares that I naturally make, except with a bit of a difference that I put a twist on them. The hood and things of that nature. Because my whole thing is truly still a neo-future, retro-future, vintage Trans Am era Street Fighter style of muscle car. Whereas a little bit of a Japanese aesthetic and a little bit of a vintage Trans Am era aesthetic, and with the Black Cloud twist over it all, with the burn unit twist or the Mr. Totem twist of it all. And if you're over here watching this, you probably already know about that, and you probably like it a little bit, probably just a little bit. So I'm just going to continue that on that. So please check out the rest of the videos that I'm going to be making of this car. Each one of the modifications, I'm going to put them on there. And, you know, give a subscribe and give a like and, you know, give a few comments. Tell me what you think, you know. Until then, I'm still going to be making a bunch of these rad monsters with 4 thick, wide wheels. And you can check them out.